So joining us today is Satdeep Binning, who is the founder of the Functional Health Institute, which is a health and wellness center based in Ontario, Canada. And do you mind just by starting with what is functional medicine?
Yeah, so functional medicine is a system that's designed to help people get answers to their health situations by getting to the root cause. And so the difference would be, one of the big differences in that whole experience is that it doesn't really matter what someone's diagnosed with. What really matters is who the patient is. And so everything has to be personalized around that person. And to really solve those real issues, you have to look at everything that person's surrounded by and everything that's inside them. So their environment becomes a big factor of that person's health journey.
And why would you say this is important to everyone, and why should people be investing in changing?
Well, it's important because, if you look at our world right now, we're in, everything seems to be burning down. And no matter who you are, the level of impact you will create in the world is always going to go back to what's your level of health, right? If your health is down here, that's the level of the impact you're going to make. So if we desire to change the world and have this much impact, then your health has to match that. And so for me, it's not even just always about just your health and eating well. It's about, what do you want to contribute? What's your legacy going to be? And the legacy is going to be limited by your health. And so we have to all invest in that. If we want to solve these bigger issues like the environment and things like that.
And how is medicine and our health connected to our environment? And how are these changes to the environment impacting our health?
Good question. So our health environment and environment are inseparable. We can't have this concept of, if you look at every species on this planet, we're in what's called like the 6th mass extinction on this planet. We're part of it, right? So our children are now in a state where 50% of our kids are growing up with chronic diseases. That's unheard of. It's never happened before in the history of us being on this planet, right? So whatever's going on is in our health, like they're tied together, just like 2 strands of our DNA. So what that means is every aspect of our environment is going to impact us. For example, we eat really dirty food, and you have a lot of lobbyists that would tell you it's fine, there's nothing wrong here, eat it. But yet, our food and our soil is becoming more and more depleted because of the way we farm. And so how does, a young family, maybe first-time parents, when your food isn't even the same as it was 40 years ago, changing the food doesn't impact that anymore. It doesn't lead to more health, and so when it should be. So if we're not willing to make these changes, if we're not willing to say, hey, these chemicals we're spraying on our food, these chemicals that we're breathing in every single day are causing a detriment to our society and to our health from a young age to a big age, then we're really going to miss the boat. It's not going to be solved by, taking a drug to get rid of that chemical. It's too late. It's in you.
Yeah. And what would you say to the average person trying to help them understand all of this?
The average person needs to get involved, right? And so there's grassroots things they can do. And what I mean by that is just start with your own house, right? So if you're worried about the environment, are you using Tide laundry detergent on your own clothes? Like, what are you worried about if you're part of the problem? Right? So what we have to do is then think about things like food, right? There's simple things that I try to teach people in our office, in our clinic, because truly we have to get back to that as the solution, right? People mistakenly think the term doctor means healer because we've attached this energy to it, right? And we've given this power to this person in a white coat who's going to heal me. But in reality, if you go back to the meaning of the word doctor and where it comes from, it's Latin. The term is docere, which means to teach, right? And there's no teaching happening. And so what we're trying to do is really focus on how do we create the change by teaching people how to move the needle, right? And so, for example, there's a list called the Clean 15 Dirty Dozen. So what I try to teach people is, hey, if you have a monetary budget that doesn't allow you to eat organic, follow these rules. Right, so there's what the Clean 15 Dirty Dozen, what it essentially means is There's a list of fruits and vegetables that are on the Clean 15, so they're not organic, but they're the least contaminated with pesticides. So a smart decision would be eat these things if you can't afford to buy organic things. And the Dirty Dozen are the list of the most contaminated foods with pesticides. And so those are things you just don't eat, right? And if you can't buy them organic, avoid them. Just leave it off your grocery list. It's not going to harm you to not have strawberries, right? But focus on that Clean 15 list. So people can do it, and they typically will have the resources to do it. You just have to commit to those things. And but it comes from first having the knowledge how to make a better choice, and that they're not getting anywhere.
And just to build off that question, so what is something that anyone can start for themselves and their families?
I guess, yeah, it comes from that question. Start following that Clean 15 Dirty Dozen. Start choosing to clean up your personal environment, right? Clean your home. Get rid of some of the toxins that you're willingly spraying all over the place in your home. The stuff you bathe with, the stuff you put into your mouth. We're all probably coffee drinkers. Most people don't realize coffee by weight is one of the most contaminated things we can ingest with pesticides. And so all these Tim Hortons and Starbucks, none of them serve organic coffee. So what are you consuming? So make a change there, right? Because you're not going to get someone to quit drinking coffee, but say, hey, if you're going to drink it, make it cleaner. And that it does make an impact. So start there.
Yeah, it's a great place to start. Thank you very much for joining us today.
You're welcome.